Well, we've got a lot of big cues to watch out for this week, but our research team is standing by with CNBC-TV18's list of top 10 stocks for the day. First, on the gas price revision and the latest on that front, Sonal is here to give us the lowdown. Sonal, over to you.
Good morning, Sonia. Well, yes, it's a big update and a material change that we have seen in the gas pricing regime. Now, the government has gone ahead, accepted the credit panel recommendations, and it means that now gas prices will be revised every month versus 6 months earlier. Also, prices will be pegged at 10% of the Indian crude basket versus formula-based pricing earlier. Also, there's a floor now to gas prices at $4 per MMBTU and a ceiling at $6.50 per MMBTU. Now, important to note that the ceiling is only for FY24 and FY25, following which there will be an addition of $0.25 per MMBTU every year. That is on the ceiling. Now, what is the impact here? All these city gas distribution companies will see a positive reaction because, especially for IGL and MGL, majority of their volumes come in from CNG and PNG. For MGL, there's an 87% exposure, IGL at 80%. Gujarat Gas has more industrial volumes, so CNG and PNG is the 36% of overall volumes. Now, on the back of this, Jeffrey says that IGL, MGL and GAIL are the biggest beneficiaries in this case, and that's why they've upgraded the EBITDA estimates across all the city gas distribution companies in GAIL as well. For IGL by 20%, for MGL by 19%, and for Gujarat Gas by 6% for the next 2 financial years as well. For ONGC in Oil India, IIFL says it's a short-term negative. There could be a hit on realizations to the tune of 24%, but of course, the ceiling is something, the floor is something that is beneficial for all these gas producers. For GAIL, IIFL says LPG segment will see a benefit because they use gas as raw material and it will increase their PAT by 3%.
All right, thanks a lot for that. We'll watch out for all of these stocks, but we're also looking out for Tata Motors this morning. The company reported its Q4 JLR numbers over the weekend the numbers looked good. The total global sales for Tata Motors in Q4 has risen 8% year-on-year. The global passenger vehicle sales are up 10% compared to last year. But if you look at just the Jaguar Land Rover numbers, there's a very good growth compared to, on a quarter-on-quarter basis. JLR numbers have gone up 19%. They've reported 95,000 units compared to 80,000 last quarter. So looking pretty good on a quarter-on-quarter basis over there. Now, Goldman Sachs has upgraded Tata Motors to a buy from a neutral to factor the improving Jaguar Land Rover outlook. They've also gone ahead and raised their 12-month target price on the stock to 550. And they say that on a valuation parameter as well, the stock is looking pretty good. In fact, the stock now trades at 7.5 times price to earnings compared to its own historic median of 9 times. So it's cheaper than its own historic median. BofA Securities also put out a note where they say that the volumes were really good in Q4. It's a free cash flow beat as well. They maintain a buy target price of 475 and they say that the risk reward is favorable at current levels. So I'm going with green for Tata Motors.
All right, Sonia, we'll keep an eye out on that one. Now, Titan is the next one. Pre-quarterly updates. Mangalam is here with details. Mangalam.
Well, decent update coming in from Titan this time around. 23% growth in their jewelry business. This comes on a feeble base. Remember, same time last year was the Omicron wave, as a result of which their jewelry business grew by just around 1.3%. But, the growth this time around, the real star of the show was their non-jewelry business, where watches grew by 41%. Emerging businesses, which include the likes of fragrance and Taneira, grew by 80%. In fact, their sari business this time around grew by 208% itself. So as a result of which, their overall revenues in the quarter were up by almost 25%, which is higher than other peers who have reported their numbers itself. Large ticket purchases for the company have been led by a rich mix of high-value studded jewelry and solitaires. The only fly in the ointment, however, is that the sharp rise in gold prices in March led to softness in demand. So January and February were good, but March was a little soft, and maybe the street believes that April will be a little soft as well. As a result of which, I see the stock opening in the green, but difficult to retain those gains.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Mangla. Well, let's hop across to Abhishek. He's tracking CreditAccess Grameen. Hi, Abhishek. Good morning.
Morning, Nigel. So, CreditAccess Grameen have given their business update, and in line with what peers are showing in terms of, momentum being stronger than expectation. So, disbursements are up nearly 24% YOY and about 48% quarter-on-quarter. The AUM growth is robust at 26.7% YOY and more than 18% quarter-on-quarter. Disbursement to AUM ratio, now that's a point to note, given the fact that for an MFI player to have a 45% disbursal physical to AUM growth, it is almost in line with what HFCs or fixed asset financiers do give out. Calculation shows that the average ticket size is up 12.3% YOY and more than 18% quarter-on-quarter. This is despite the fact that, customer growth is flat on a sequential basis. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot for that. Well, let's go back to Mangalam now to find out more about Adani Wilmar and how the performance was this time around. Mangalam, over to you.
Well, we saw it in Marico's update where their edible oil business did not do well on account of two factors. One, there was a high base in the same time last year, and secondly, the prices of edible oil have cooled off drastically. So that's what's reflecting in Adani Wilmar as well. Edible oil volumes were flat year on year, whereas value decline has been in mid-teens. In fact, the overall revenue decline for the company this time around has been in high single digit, and that's because their other smaller businesses have done extremely well. Food and FMCG, where value growth has been 60%, volume growth has been 40%, and industry essentials as well, where the value growth has been in low teens. The company said that the supply of imported edible oils have been smoother during the fourth quarter, and oil business, however, has been dragged by lower demand by the bakery as well as frying industries. So see some red purely on account of the weakness that we are seeing in their core business.
All right, thanks a lot for that. Mangalam. Well, Sonal's joining in to tell us about a couple of operational updates, Sobha as well as Godrej Properties. Morning, Sonal, go for it.
Good morning, Nigel. Well, yes, good updates coming in from both the companies. For Sobha, it was the highest ever quarterly bookings that the company has seen. So overall, their Bengaluru market saw flat sales on a YY basis. NCR saw a dip, but Kerala was the one which saw good growth leading to this number this time around. Sales value was up 26% on a YY basis. Sales volumes were up 8%. And it was driven by realizations as well. So realizations for the company went up by 13.5%. The same story with Godrej Properties as well. Strong update, both quarter-on-quarter and on a YY basis. They have reported strong sales growth. So 25% on a quarter-on-quarter basis in terms of sales value. Volumes are up 19%. Collections have gone up by 127% on a sequential basis. And on the back of this, the company has been able to surpass their FY23 sales booking guidance. They had guided for 10,000 crore rupees. They have been able to do bookings of 12,232 crore rupees. So definite green on Godrej Properties.
Okay, so they also say in their press release, with our business development additions nearly doubling our initial guidance and increasing by over 200% year on year, we have a stronger launch pipeline in the current year than ever before. So very positive, commentary coming in from Godrej Properties as well in their press release. Thanks a lot, folks, for updating us on the numbers. Well, let's get you a quick recap of our top stocks. Stocks with positive news flow: IGL, MGL, GAIL, Tata Motors, Titan, CreditAccess, Grameen, Sobha and Godrej Properties. While stocks with negative news flow: ONGC and Adani Wilmar. But also, let's get a quick update on what's happening in the world of commodities this morning. Manisha Gupta is joining in for all the roundup, of the action that took place in the last couple of days that we perhaps missed out on. Manisha, good morning.
Morning. Thank you for that, Sonia. Well, after 3 weeks of gains, the crude oil prices have started a fourth week on a positive note. We are holding around 81 for the WTI and 85 plus kind of levels for the Brent crude prices. Also, we've seen 7% of gains come in for the previous week. The OPEC plus output cut, the sentiment from that is holding the prices firm. And the latest is that the Saudi Arabia has now hiked the May crude oil prices for its consumers in Asia and US. So that tells you that the demand is coming back and Saudi Arabia can deal with higher prices there. What we have seen support come in for also is the natural gas prices. Last week was a 5% decline, but we have seen prices gain up as the demand in the Western world continues to rise. Also, the fact that you will be soon getting into the summer driving demand season in the Western world, and the US is expecting higher demand because of that as well. To the metals then, and that seems to be under pressure for most of them, barring copper, which is trading at around 2-week highs because of tight inventories and lower supplies from Peru and Chile. You have zinc trading at 5-month lows, steel trading at a 7-week lows, iron ore at 3-month lows. So metals clearly is a mixed bag with only copper trading in the positive side right now.
All right, Manisha, thanks very much for that. So that's commodities, a quick picture for you. Up next, Anand Tandon will be with us for some fundamental stock analysis. Later, we'll connect with Kirit Parikh, chairman of the Integrated Research and Action for Development. The panel recommendations were approved. Harshvardhan Dole of IIFL will also join in to discuss the APM gas pricing norm. Stay tuned. That conversation coming up next.